All right, let's talk about something I think we've all felt. That moment when your social battery just completely dies on you. We're going to get into why that happens, and here's a hint, it's not because you're antisocial. It's actually a sign of some pretty incredible stuff happening inside your brain. You know exactly what I'm talking about, right? You're at a party, maybe with people you really genuinely like, the conversation's great, you're having fun, and then bam. It's like a switch flips. All your energy is just gone, and all you can think about is making a quiet exit. It feels so confusing, but trust me, it's a super common experience. So we tend to slap a label on that feeling. We think, oh, I'm just an introvert, or I'm so awkward. But what if that's not the real story? Psychology tells us there's something much deeper going on. It's not that you dislike people, it's that your brain is processing the entire social scene in high definition. So let's get into the first big reason. We're talking about your brain in overdrive. A simple conversation for you can feel like a full-blown sensory overload for your brain. This all comes down to a trait called sensory processing sensitivity. Now, think of it this way. Most people's brains have a really effective filter that tunes out all the background noise, the music, the other conversations, the clinking glasses. But if you have this trait, your filter is way more permissive. You're getting everything. It's not a bug, it's a feature. You're just wired to be incredibly perceptive. And what does that actually mean in the moment? Well, you're not just hearing the words someone is saying. Oh no. You're also analyzing that tiny shift in their tone of voice. You're catching the flicker of a micro-expression on their face. At the same time, you're processing all the background noise. And your mind is connecting what they're saying now to something they did last week, all while trying to predict what they might say next. It's an incredible amount of data to process, and it is seriously exhausting. Okay, so that's all the external stuff your brain is juggling. But that's only half the story. There's also this intense internal spotlight running at the same time. So your attention is basically split in two. Part of your brain is trying to keep up with the conversation, right? But another huge chunk of your mental energy is busy monitoring you. You're thinking, how am I coming across? Was that a weird thing to say? Is my body language okay? It's like you're trying to run two very demanding apps on your phone at once. The battery's just going to crash. And all that self-monitoring, it actually puts your brain into a mild but very real stress mode. This little state of high alert makes it way harder for other parts of your brain to do their job. It's why you can meet someone, they tell you their name, and 30 seconds later, it's completely gone. Your brain was just too busy managing its social performance to log that basic piece of info. And that brings us to the third and maybe the biggest reason for this social drain. We have to talk about how your mind handles emotions in a room. Because for many of us, we're not just noticing feelings, we're literally absorbing them. There's a scientific term for this. It's called emotional contagion. You've got these things called mirror neurons in your brain, and they fire not just when you feel something, but when you see someone else feeling it. So if the person you're talking to is feeling a little anxious or stressed, you don't just notice it. On a neurological level, you start feeling it too, as if it were your own emotion. Let's just be real for a second. That is a massive amount of emotional work. You're not just managing a conversation, you're carrying the unstated emotional baggage of everyone in the room. That kind of psychological weight will drain your social battery faster than anything else. Okay, so we've covered sensory overload, we've covered high self-monitoring, and emotional contagion. It sounds like a lot of problems, right? But what if we've been looking at this the wrong way? Let's try to reframe this whole thing. Maybe this isn't a weakness. Maybe it's the side effect of a pretty incredible strength. Just let this sink in. Feeling drained after 30 minutes of socializing doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. It's proof that your brain is doing more work than the average person's. It means you have this deeply insightful, highly tuned mind that's perceptive and empathetic. That's a superpower. So what this really all boils down to is that knowing why your social battery works the way it does can change everything. It's not a limitation, it's a signal. It's your brain telling you just how much information and emotion it's taking in. And that leads to the real question. Now that you understand this pattern in yourself, what else are you going to notice? What other truths about how you see the world are just waiting for you to discover?